All right, guys. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to another podcast with a breath of fiction. And today, as always, it's Radicore, otherwise known as Trusted Desserts, here with DCC, I Get Snack, and Sparta. So, in today's topic,
Hello.
we're going to be talking about Cyberpunk theme Demon Slayer. Yay!
I do want to
Hooray.
say I started an intro and then I'm like, why is he talking over me?
Oh, you were
I forgot to hit the
silent.
push to
That's
talk
you.
button.
You were silent, so I was like, okay, I'll take care of it then.
Yeah, I forgot to hit the push to talk button. I'm alive this time. I
Alright.
don't have a migraine. I'm not dying. This is Dan, also known.
Did he just cut out on your screen again? Because he cut out on mine. Hello?
Do I have to like hold a
Push
little
to
bit
talk.
longer?
Okay. Sorry, everybody. Technical difficulties. As usual, goes off the rails at the beginning. But yeah, so you have to keep it push to talk. That's the problem.
Yeah, yeah. So did I do I need to hold it for like a second after I stop talking?
I mean, I just keep it off of push to talk just because it's a little bit like choppy sometimes, especially if you're getting in a bit of lag.
Oh,
It's
fun.
true.
Yeah, normally I just keep it off, but you have whenever you want to speak, usually put a second before you want to speak so it registers, and then wait for a second after you're done, and then let go. But yeah, so if you want to take care of that, we can. Yeah, but so as I said, we all four of our members. Sorry to everyone who are Lord Callie fans. Callie couldn't make it tonight, so we're gonna do our best to keep on the rails in his place, even though he's not here. So, how sh-
Indeed.
yeah, so how should we begin? Cyberpunk. I know I personally I thought of this when I started like thinking about getting the new Cyberpunk game getting out. So then I'm like, you know what? There's tons of art of the Cyberpunk, so I went online and lo and behold, I found some of Demon Slayer and I'm like, people have already been making art. We should do an AU on this.
The
Anyone else?
best one I
Hmm.
think is Cyberpunk Inosuke. With that like
Yes.
robo.
The robo covering. It's not a boar mask, it's a robot boar mask over his head.
Nice.
Do I have the photos? We could try to put the photos on the screen.
But going to what Rad had started mentioning before the podcast, and I kept telling him to hold on to, is if you're going to generally go into cyberpunk, you don't have specific, you know, ooh, aspects that you need to lock down, like if you're merging it with another story. Now, if we did Cyberpunk 2077, yeah, we'd be focused into certain boundaries and rules because there's an established universe. For example, it would have to be a bunky as shit AU. Um,
Well, in general, when you think of cyberpunk, cyberpunk is, in general, as a theme, not like making everything technology. Like the punk aspect is meant to emphasize that there is a dystopic feel to it more than anything.
Counterculture.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So,
dystopic or
yeah,
dystopian?
dystopian, dystopic, dystopic, displayed. I don't know.
Counterculture.
Exactly. We'll just go with downer. Is that Machine Corp who
Green
just
Day.
joined? Machine Corp, welcome. Even if you're not going to talk, thank you for coming.
Oh,
Hello.
Hey,
How's it
he's
going?
just
Oh,
been
I love the
listening.
art.
She's a bit shy.
It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you for making the art for us. Machine Core makes all the art for our channel.
Yeah.
She's
and they
amazing.
are dope. They are amazing. Back on topic.
Indeed.
All right. So we have a dystopian future, and if we're going to incorporate Demon Slayer, which is a dark fantasy at the end of the day, we gotta try to keep the darkness there, but adapt it to technology. So I want to try to open the floor. What do we think the origins of demons are going to be in a cyberpunk universe?
Capitalism.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Of
Here's
course.
my
Look,
question.
okay.
Though. Do they have to be demons?
They
Like,
don't
yeah, exactly. What if Muzan is a dictator and like the demons are like his cyborg enforcers? No? And they
Well,
like
Maybe,
they
but
call the
could.
populace.
I'm trying to think of how you get that specific dichotomy of an evil group that is controlled and a group that specifically has to fight them. Not everyone can fight them.
Well, I
Here's a thought:
have two.
antivirus.
Yeah, I have two ideas for this. We have the modern, more biological route, and then the other one, which is also a little bit more biological, and then we also have the cybernetic route. I would like to open and put forth the biological route, if anything. Okay, we all good?
Mhm.
Okay,
So
so
like enhanced
well,
soldiers
well, this
or
is
something.
cyberpunk. Like this isn't body mod. Like if we anyone who's seen 2077, there's like body modifications of not just robotics, but biological genetics, that kind of thing, as well
Yeah,
as possible.
and
Mm-hmm.
So
CRISPR.
Yes.
it could be that Muzan was originally an experiment in the modern era who escaped, lived for a while as a demon, and then within 100 years, as the future started going to shit, it became like he decided to take over, that kind of thing. Consequently, we could also still keep the thousand-year-old premise, except they live through Taisho and beyond, and then once technology catches up, because Muzan's a little bit smarter, Muzan starts operating more, like getting into that kind of thing, because there's more technology
Mm-hmm.
to, possibly augment and remove some of the weaknesses, like maybe a UV reflective synth or shield that covers him. They could go along those ways, because remember, technology is advanced to futuristic levels. How many things are possible? So,
Mm-hmm.
in theory, even if Muzan was 1,000 years old, like in Demon Slayer, there could be technology. He could have lived to the point where technology is able to do something for him. Like, imagine if he put on sunblock all over himself, the UV light getting rid of.
Oh my god.
Like, why
You
didn't
know,
he
I
do
will
that?
say,
Sunblock.
Why didn't he? What if he had got to
SPF
that point?
95.
I will say,
He uses
if
those
you
like
do,
football players stripes.
Hmm.
if you do, it's going into a cyberpunk time, that does fall in line with one of the sequels I have planned for my AU, which is going to be about essentially cyberpunk with demons. So there is a way to do that, but it you gotta wonder, is it going to be more like, how cyberpunk is it going to be if the demons are already demons?
Well, the way I was thinking about it is kind of goes into what my fanfiction Rogue is all about. Like the main character be a virtue of being a veteran of two wars that the Japanese fought in 1985, bless you, in 1984 to
Thank
1985
you.
and 1904 to 1905. The guy has basically seen like blood, guts, and battles for almost for two and over the span of a decade. And he knows, quite frankly, that humans are can and there have been times where they are more cruel, vicious, and bloodthirsty than any demon. So if we're going to that, we're not trying like at least as far as demons going into a cyberpunk universe, it's a dark time. So it's not going to be like a more moral saving humans because the way I was thinking about it is the Slayers are dedicated to destroying demons, but they're a lot more vigilante-esque because there are plenty of dark humans in this time frame as well who don't deserve mercy either way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine
Mhm.
you find out that there's like this trafficking ring of like body organs like we saw in one of the Cyberpunk 2077 trailers. Like are they going to stand for that? Cuz like don't forget where they're operating, they're seeing like the worst of humanity operating at this time frame also.
Yeah, exactly.
So does that kind of address it? Like, I mean, when you say, well, at least the way I went about answering that question, DCC, is how is it just going to be more of the same? No, it's going to be a lot more of a gray area because I feel like there would be more moral conflicts between some of the worst non-demon humans, if you will, but demons in all but biology kind of sense.
And I see where you're coming from there, and that addresses the punk aspect, but I'm concerned with the cyber aspect. Because if you have Demon Slayer in the future, it's not necessarily cyberpunk. It may just be, sci-fi fantasy. If we want to really nail that cyberpunk aspect, we may want to take a step back from the fantasy aspects of Demon Slayer and move and readdress them through, more sci-fi means. Force ourselves from some of the fantasy aspects.
I mean, we can have
Hmm.
cyberpunk fantasy. Just look at Bright. I mean, it's not a good fantasy per se.
So your concern is the cyber aspect, is that right? Or is it more of
Yes.
a, okay, so I thought about that too. So obviously, as we've seen Muzan, like Muzan is not some like isn't is 1,000 years old, but he's not some anachronistic like bastard. Like he like as we saw in the regular canon, he wears like the normal Taisho suits. He is working with the biology and like that scene when he's talking to the upper moons after Upper Moon 6 bites it. So I think he would have adapted to like being involved because yeah, after like Daki and
Yeah,
Gyutaro.
for a second I thought you said Lower Moon 6. I was going to correct you to 5, but then I remembered.
No, I said Upper Moon. But anyway, he
Imagine like Korra, but like cyberpunk.
Yeah, because
okay.
That
Core
works
it's
well.
steampunk.
It blends
That's
into
steampunk, but yeah.
fantasy, right?
I
With the
really wonder what
technological
Core
setting.
Cyberpunk
So
would be like. But
Hmm.
that's a different topic.
But yeah, so getting back on track, but when you say cyber, like Muzan would have definitely adapted to these times. Like if we go the route where he is finding more ways, like here's what I was thinking. One of the reasons that demons don't like get that big a press, like why the Slayers are like technically unrecognized and why people consider demons a myth, is simply because they don't see. Some people will live their whole lives without ever seeing it, and a majority do. And then it's just superstition, right? So in the age of technology, that's not really a thing that's going to be happening now.
cryptids,
Fake
Yeah,
news.
yeah, no, no, but
cryptids.
no, 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 no. But here's the thing, though. If as far, but fake news just proves my point. Everyone is dumb enough to believe certain things as well. But anyway,
Donald
Muzan.
Trump is gonna have a field day with this one.
Oh no, let's not bring politics into this,
Sorry.
please. But yeah, so
Again, yeah, let's do it
I'm
again.
not gonna bring politics.
okay, Snack, please. Let's just drop it. Anyway, but when we go into like this, I'm thinking that people in the future are a little bit more smarter than just the fake news, all right? But and if we go along
A
that if
little
we
bit more smarter. You just proved that they're not.
no, I mean they're not at the level that they're going let's put it this way. Only the fringe nutcases believe fake news. The majority will believe are not like beholden to that because in Cyberpunk a lot more people are technologically savvy. They can kind of detect things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Mhm.
that's my take on it. And based on that premise, Muzan, the idea of demons is like technically some people, it's more of a darknet thing because the way I was going about it is as technology developed, people began getting more aware that there's something wrong. Like there's something inhuman going on out there? So Muzan didn't want the full weight of the government crashing down because let's not forget, as technology evolved, so did mass production. One thing led to another, and then what if like the government said like we're gonna crack down on all the demons and arm everyone with like Nichiren swords? Like Muzan is going to have a bitch of a time. So they adapt with the technology and they still try to stay in the shadows that way, but they kind of flex their muscles, if you will, through like the whole internet and cyber portions of it. And to make themselves a bit stronger,
Yeah,
I was thinking that Muzan also had some of his demons get biological and maybe mechanical like upgrades, if you will. So one thing that they do have,
Mechanical, I can
this.
see, but they're
Like,
already shapeshifters.
like
So if
what
they
if
wanted to
Doma?
control DNA, they could do it themselves.
no, but here's the
Well,
thing though,
I'm-
that's biological. Like if you're doing all of that like cyber data in your brain into the mainframe cyber hacking, you still need mechanical implants. Like being a demon's
you
not
guys-
going to affect
They
it.
can
Cutting.
they can CRISPR themselves into higher life forms.
They're
That's
demons. They wouldn't want to.
pretty
They think they're already the highest life form. They're egotistically speaking. You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yes.
DCC, were you saying something? Because I think you cut out.
Bro,
Bro, what if like Doma carried around liquid
mechanical part
nitrogen?
makes sense, but I didn't think that the biological part made sense since they're already shapeshifters. They can control their DNA if they really want to.
But can they? I mean, besides Muzan, they can't. They can. Sure, they can. They can shift depending on their blood art, but there's only so much they can do. Like, I mean, it's not like Akaza was able to go Gyoko levels of shapeshifting now, was he? Like, it was restricted to what his biology allowed him.
Exactly.
Does that make
Well,
sense?
Do we know that for a fact? Because
Well, then why wouldn't any? I feel either the demons were too prideful, which I feel like isn't necessarily Like, it doesn't make much sense, or they just couldn't. Because I feel like there had to have been some restrictions, otherwise, like, Michikatsu would have been more likely to do something about it.
Well, I definitely think it's mental and that they don't know it. Especially in a cyberpunk age, I feel like they would have enough understanding of DNA to say, oh,
But
well, like, it,
Would Muzan let them though? If we're assuming like the creation process is his blood still.
I mean, that's fair, but at the same time, if they have access to the internet, how is he going to stop them?
Well, don't forget, like Muzan, like here's my addition. Like, assuming we based on what Muzan could or could not do, is more or less referring to his ability to control them and see what they're seeing. But he didn't know every single thing about demon human biology. At this point in time, he would know a lot more. So, and because he can sense demons like memories even without the cyberpunk, even if the demons had access to the internet, he would still be able to tell from being in their presence and hearing, looking at their memories if needed, that they're doing something behind his back.
Exactly.
Search history.
Exactly. So, well, he technically did have that ability of search history to any demon who's bloody and injustice. We saw that with
Now
Tamayo.
it has me imagining um, just Muzan going up to Enmu. Why the hell are you Googling with safe search off, and I quote, Muzan X train porn?
Oh.
Oh man. I don't know. I
Or
was
like
honestly I thought
Akasa,
Doma
why
was
are you
gonna I thought
Googling
Doma
what
was
is a sim?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, when I was gonna go more along the lines of, I was thinking like Doma is just going around like this is like the founder and has the backdoor access to all the porn sites on the internet because he's into girls, that kind of thing. That's what I was gonna go for.
Nah, I
Speaking
feel like
of
he's gonna go
social
something more.
media,
No, you know what Duma would be? He would be the like dating apps. That's what I see him doing more. He would have his hand in like every freaking dating app. Like
Yeah,
Even
okay.
Grinder?
he'd be the
Yes,
main
even
share.
Grinder.
Would be the
Even
easiest way to get
Christian
into
me?
everyone's life. It's so easy to meet up with someone. You know, just
even Christian Mingle, yes.
But
What?
are smartphones and apps a thing in Cyberpunk? I feel like we would have gone beyond that because we have like the whole body
He'd be
modification thing.
like he'd be like, ha,
we would have gone to a
Christians
more advanced
destroyed with
form, but I
facts
don't feel
and
like the
logic.
concept of
I
apps would go
wait,
away.
I feel like Doma would be like an atheist like Ben Shapiro or something.
Well, I mean, I think most
Duma
people
would
would
be
think
like
that.
Charles Manson or something.
I don't know. I
He'd
personally
be
think
like,
that
I
Doma would
destroyed
be
your
more of an
religion.
atheist more than
Facts
anything,
and
just because
logic.
like most people are atheists anyway.
Let's say hypothetically, the girls with butterfly hairpins are again hypothetically the best to be eaten after all.
Oh boy.
Let's just say hypothetically that's the case. Wouldn't that mean all demons should go out and devour them or something? Shouldn't they?
Well, this is cyberpunk, so missing bodies isn't, even though in their digital age, isn't exactly uncommon now. Like people die all the time, like by guns, by like kidnappings, organ, whatever. So it's not that difficult. So it kind of goes back to what's Muzan's role. Like if he's the big bad, I'm thinking he's not just the big bad in terms of the villain, but in terms of like he has his claws and demons by extension into certain aspects of society, like control of like certain parts of like the economic system, so like social systems, that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
so they can remain
So
hidden.
if you went into like the '90s, you would say, "Oh, he's the president." But since we're going into cyberpunk, he's a CEO. He owns the biggest company that
Yes,
Yes.
software and everything.
that yeah,
Exactly.
and then he uses it as a masquerade for the demon's activities and to like flex his
Mhm.
muscles.
That is amazing. What should his company do?
Well, I think it would start off with pharmaceuticals because one, the doctor. Two, it would be a great front. You know, you go in for your testing. They're like, "Oh,
Oh yeah, Big Pharma,
no
make it Big
blood. Let's
Pharma.
make him a demon."
And let's not forget, we also have armed medical mercenaries in Cyberpunk that will shoot people if they think they're threatening their contract insurance patients, as we saw in the 2077 trailer. So they could easily
Also,
kidnap people that way.
Make him the American healthcare system. Okay, I'm done with my politics. That's my last clip for you.
Hand in
amazing.
head.
If the demons had access to everyone's medical records, they would know every single Morechi.
Oh
Hmm.
shit.
They
Oh,
would,
shit.
but
They
then
could literally just
again,
kidnap those people and harvest them.
this is true, and then that's Matrix level stuff at the end of the day, except death afterwards. But but then again, if we want to balance the scales, I know the Ubiyashikis are rich. So what if they're more of a less of a squeaky clean, but still like powerful corporation in their own right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would say politicians, but politicians don't have jack shit in Cyberpunk anymore. It's all corporations, not corpses.
That sounds, yes.
Well, I mean,
Corporation versus corporation.
if we want to add if you want to add a more gray and darker area to the Demon Slayer core as part of Cyberpunk, then yes, it's a proxy war between two companies. Except maybe the Demon Slayers are a little bit more moral. You know what I mean, and less greedy and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the demon slayers themselves could be more moral, but the company they work for could be immoral.
Ubiyashiki Industries destroying faith since what was I don't know
Well,
something like that.
it could be that Ubuyashiki runs specific paramilitary program of the company.
That is true as well. But then who would he report to?
That's the question. That's who we could make up, you know?
Yorichi.
Yep.
Man.
What?
Oh,
Actually,
shit.
I got an idea. But here's the thing. This depends on what scenarios. Like if we're doing the 1,000 like the original breathing stuff happened or whatever. If we're saying the 1,000 years and then going into Cyberpunk, then Yorichi's dead. But if we're making the Slayers themselves have a more recent origin, they could probably one thing that could be interesting to do is that they crystallized like digitally replicated the intelligence via AI of all the Slayers who have come before them, including Yorichi. So technically, he's still alive in essence.
That could be cool. Robo
That would be
Yuri.
very cool.
No, but then think of it this
No.
way: every person who we saw die in Demon Slayer isn't dead in the digital world. Like there's still a digital Kanai, there's still a digital Yorichi, there's still like a digital like
Cyberpunk Kimagaku. It's a dating sim, but none of them realize that they're in a dating sim, so they wonder why people are constantly trying to hook up with them.
So it's basically like Doki Doki Literature Club, but not meta.
And someone realizes
Without-
that they're in the
without the
Matrix.
psychological
That's
horror.
the thing. And someone realizes they're from
No.
the Matrix.
Snect suggesting Yorichi made me realize the perfect person to run the shell company that the Slayers will work for. Michikatsu.
So okay, so then
That
he's
makes
not a
It's the
demon
perfect
then.
ploy.
So he's not a
Who
demon.
better? Huh?
So
No, he is. He's the demon Kokushibu, but because he has that second name and he hides his identity, no one knows.
Shit.
Oh shit.
So that's why it's an immoral company with the Slayers in it. He dicks the Slayers around. He creates the illusion that they have the ability to actually fight the demons, but he's undermining them constantly.
Okay. So then,
But,
eventually, though, they would have to figure it out if this is gonna, unless we want to go the everyone dies at the end and the villains win strategy.
Either or.
Either
or
way,
maybe it could be like a mystery, or like a mystery/thriller.
either way, I think the only problem is like at the end of the day, we need to. I think if we're gonna go down that route, we have to establish that this is going to be that there has to be either a way for the Slayers to realize and force that Michikatsu is dicking them around and is actually Kokushibo, and then force him out, or there's just going to be a bad ending because the way you're going about it, there's going to be no good ending here.
Well, I will say this: if they have to fight Kokushibu, then when he dies, they'll probably inevitably realize that Kokushibu was Michikatsu.
Okay. But
I
then
feel like this
I have
could
an
be a
I
mystery
I have an
thriller
idea
where like
then. Like, what if we do it like this? We have the paramilitary arm of the Demon Slayers in this company, Mamichikatsu. And then and they apparently, like, there's like this whole board meeting, if you will, like in regular companies and even in Cyberpunk, like there's different departments of
yeah.
heads. So what happens is Michikatsu dies, and then Kaguya just does an armed takeover of the company, and then he becomes the head of the company itself.
I
If
could see that.
Like he just
Mhm.
hostile internal takeover, like the
But
militarization
I feel
of the
like that would
company.
have to be like a final arc move. It's like for most of the story, it's like they're fighting this uphill battle, and then they kind of reveal Kokushibu, oust him, and then do their hostile takeover, and they have very
Exactly.
little
It could be
time
like
to prove themselves.
like a mystery thriller because like there are these like incidents of sabotage within their organization, and then someone picks up on that. They're like, wait a minute, this is fishy. So then like you can have like someone playing detective and being like, okay, who's sabotaging us? Who is the mole? And then like it could be like this whole mystery of solving who's the mole, and then they find out, oh my god, Michikatsu's the mole. So what if Kagaya finds this out, but he doesn't tell anyone until like the plan for his hostile takeover?
That could work as well.
Also, another idea I had, you could introduce the moles plot point early, like they do in the My Hero Academia, but
Yeah, exactly.
And
you have
then
escape.
Kaigaku is
You
one of
have
the
someone who
moles.
goes down early.
Kaigaku is one of the moles. We can make him that. He's with the Slayers for a bit.
And you think that is resolved with Kaigaku, but then Kaigaku reveals on his deathbed, I was the mole, but only recently.
And then they figure it out, and then they realize, wait a minute, someone else is the mole. But that would work. But then we have to redo the
Yeah.
final arc now because this is not a final battle, one side against the other, and winner takes all kind of thing. So let's try to figure that out. Okay, so Michikatsu, they force. Do we want to kill Michikatsu before the hostile takeover, or just force him out? Because if they force him out, then Michikatsu has to be able that we can fight him later.
Yeah, I think like the
I
like
think that they kill Michikatsu, but they don't kill Kokushibo, if you will.
yeah, so Michikat like the like
Like they throw him
part
out
of
a window or something.
Michikatsu, you can upload part of the psyche onto like a cloud or something, and like so that way sort of his like digital form survives,
Hmm.
goes back to his corporation, and he's like, let's fuck these guys up, and then like
Hmm.
everyone else the moves are like, oh yay, yes
There
boss.
is mind uploads into this. So one thing that could work is that Muzan keeps like cell cultures of the demons he's created, if you will, and then they can create new bodies off of that. Or we could do something along the lines of Michikatsu is able to cybernetically upload his brain into a clone body, which is Michikatsu, and then that's how he stays under wraps for a while until they figure out what's going on. And then he resurfaces like, yeah, I was Kokoshiba this whole time, bitch. Because he manages to upload his mind just before the Slayers kill him into the net and then get him back into his old demon body. That could be something.
Like
Yeah.
I mean, it addresses the cyber point of what you were going at. Ain't that right,
yeah.
DCC? So that could be something. But
Now back to the point then. Let's give the Slayer some cyber points. Are we still gonna have total concentration breathing, or are we gonna have cybernetics? And are we gonna have Nichirin, or are we gonna have a cybernetic kind of weapon?
all right,
Well,
I
how
have.
about why not both? Like Nichiren blades, but with cybernetic implements. So like they're all glowy and stuff. And like, okay, so here's one idea I had. What if Mitsuri's blade could be like extended for some length, so she can whip it out and like also retract it?
Whip it out.
So
Yeah.
like, are we talking like Zabimaru?
Yeah. But like with
But instead of the segmented blades, it's just kind of like a regular one edge.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe just one edge. I would think, based on your earlier question about cybernetics and breathing, I would think that because technology has advanced so much, it would be more along those lines, if you will. But we would also have to make some adjustments here because like if they have the technology they should be able to give every slayer the ability to use breathing or at least the cybernetic implanted strength to do something. So in theory that would mean in theory Genya could have breaths and Shinobu would have the strength to cut off a demon's head in this particular one if we go down that route, just from the
Or do
practicality of it all.
more personalized and specialized abilities using cybernetics and drop the breaths in general.
Personally, because there's so much body modification, we could in theory just do the cybernetic body modifications and drop the breaths entirely. But we could also like say like in order while augmenting each slayer biologically speaking, they give them greater lung capacity for breathing, that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
like give them
like
the
that could be the standard. Is like they give you a lung implant to increase your endurance because it's like, oh, you're not going to be able to last fighting a demon without this.
hmm.
That's the base.
Well, here's also another thing which I feel like we might want to if ask ourselves. I'm sorry, my voice cracked a little bit, but is the demons cyber tech savvy enough to do cybernetic hacking like we see in some of the cyberpunk games? Because assuming they are extremely cybernetically good at it, the slayers might change it up so they're more biologically with technology tools as opposed to cybernetic implants into your brain and that kind of thing. Assuming they don't have a firewall, because let's not forget we also have the mole and Michikatsu in general.
Well, there's also this perspective on it, because to hack something, there needs to be some level of,
Data
digital inter.
communication, data communication with each
If
other.
you have more analog systems where there's mechanics involved, but it's not computerized. It's maybe built into your neurons or something, and it's your body managing it rather than a computer. Well, then you can't really be hacked.
That is true. But in Cyberpunk, there is like a way for it's kind of like a balance. Like there's an external and internal portion of it. So that could be a weakness. But if we're gonna
I think
address
it
that
depends on
weakness,
the.
yeah, if we're gonna address
Yeah,
that
I think it depends
weakness,
on the engineer.
you were saying, sorry.
I think that it would depend on the type of augment. Like say Mitsuri, she has blade whips on her arms. You know, she can control them, but maybe
My
she has.
God. So like it's like that one lady from Korra. It's like
Thus the
Yes,
UA that begins with a Y, I
yeah.
think. UA
but
something.
No,
just
that's the moon lady. No. I mean the lady from Korra who doesn't have arms.
No, she has
So she
water whips
uses
for
yes.
hands. Yeah, we know what you're
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like, let's just say she does have that, but she can't control the whips well with her brain. So she has computer chips in the whips to help her guide them because it's such a complex motion. Well, then you could in theory hack whips, but you couldn't hack anything else. Make sense?
No, it makes
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
sense.
that makes
But
sense.
at Cyberpunk, there's different
Very
like
slow
levels.
down
So
motion.
I think it would depend. But I will say that at the end of the day, if they do want to prevent external like into your brain hacks, what they could do is like basically instead of having just the implants stuck into the brain, or rather having it like into their flesh, if they will. They just have like the powered exoskeleton suits you see in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, that kind of thing. Like more external tools, like bodysuits, if you will, as opposed to like internal under the flesh kind of things. But it does depend.
Actually, I
I
think
feel like
maybe
those would be easier to hack though.
No, I mean like it less of a risk to the user in terms of getting into their brain. Because
Well,
technically
how do you get
they're not like
brain unless you're turning someone's brain into a computer? You can't hack a neuron.
well in Cyberpunk you can technically speaking like in
what?
terms
It's
What
Cyberpunk
kind of science is
2077.
that?
In
No.
Cyberpunk 2077, you can have neural implants that connect you to the web, and the web can connect to you. And then through like port systems, you can get hacked by other people. Although in theory, they should be able to see what you can see, but and control you to an extent, but not as much. Like there is the potential to have loss of motor control to an extent, though. It is possible. So it
Well,
depends.
I mean, yeah,
I
but
mean,
that could happen
if you're
with.
referring to like robots, yeah, robots are complete control. I'm talking about like, but in terms of the biology, there is a limit. Like it's not, we're not saying turn the entire brain into a mechanical object here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there is a possibility that they could hack into you and see like what's going on in your head a little bit, like the memories, that kind of thing, like what Muzan does to some of his demons. There is that possibility if you put cybernetic implants into the brain.
I will accept that possibility only in that you could read the information the brain is sending into the electrical system.
Well, that yeah, the brain and the electrical system are there. They work with each other. Like it's more of a it's like more of a reciprocal relationship. You know, like you because it goes from your information directly feeding into your brain along with electrical signals. So your brain, like the chip, will be able to send signals to your brain that the brain will understand, and then vice versa. So it kind of goes both ways at the same time. If that makes any sense.
Oh, oh, talking about implants, what if Ubuyashiki and Gyome had, like sensory aids that
Honestly, I
could.
had this idea of a Gyome decked out in like this night in this cool cyberpunk jacket with with like gloves and whatnot, and then he has like this cool visor over his eyes, and then he's like it's like infrared sensing, like that kind of thing.
I like that. I'm also
Yeah,
going to say I like the idea of Gyome being so badass he has barely any augments.
Oh yeah, no, he's badass to the point where he only has it for his eyes. Like that's because like it just helped it. Otherwise, it's just about he don't need shit. Like he has
yeah.
like
Well,
he
like,
like all of his communication is like external. Like he still has like the equivalent of a phone. Like he doesn't do implants for the most part because he doesn't need them.
oh, he. What about for his weapon? Like, how? Like, is it still like a really heavy thing, or would it be made out of a more lightweight material?
Or maybe it's just his fists.
Hmm. I feel like we might wanna. I feel like Gyome might want to have a little bit. Might want to have the weapon still, but he dual.
Yeah.
It's like he has two. He can fight with his fists and he can fight without. Like that's what he can do.
Yeah, but yeah, I still feel like we should keep his iconic ball and chain, but he could probably fuck someone up, without it. Maybe he uses
Hmm.
both in a fight. Like,
Yeah, I got an idea. Speaking of like Gyome, what if one of the reasons he like if we still keep him an orphan, what if one of the reasons he was abandoned is because he was like he was a test subject, like originally, and then to give him
I
boosted
did see a
strength.
pic with that.
Yeah,
I did see a pic with,
no, like he was a test
Ooh, I like
subject
that.
for like a test subject to grow, but they abandoned him because he was slow at developing. But then he grew. By the time like you know how because he said like he didn't know in canon he was a good fighter until the demon came. Like and only later he realized like it worked. It just took a bit of time. So that kind of thing.
yeah,
Well, here's a way you could justify that. They started on him when he was like 10. They did it for like a year or two, didn't see any progress. They let him go. Puberty hit, everything just activated.
Yeah, that's what I was going for at the end of the day. Like they didn't the research,
So,
but he yeah.
in 2 years, he goes from, I'm a little kid to, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, he was 7 foot tall in Taisho, like Japan Taisho, so like that was like unheard
and
of.
he was pretty malnourished,
Yeah, so so
skinny
that would
little
work.
dude.
Speaking of which, let's go on to another person, Shinobu for essence. So I have a theory, like, because she worked with pharmaceuticals, that if Muzan was this pharmaceuticals person, he has secretly had her family targeted in essence, you know, until Guillaume came and saved them. But that's why
Well, maybe
we could
they're the
do that.
ones who found out a way to cure demonism.
Something like that too. But either way, like this wasn't just a random attack. Like Muzan targeted them, and they still worked in pharmaceuticals. But one of the things I would change is that Shinobu has more, like has implants, so she can actually cut off a demon, like demon's head in this one. Just because like it would seem unlikely that Shinobu wouldn't want that power herself. You know what I mean?
But I would
Yeah.
say, I don't think we should just make her stronger. I think we should play into who she is as a character still. For example, I think it'd be awesome for her to have hard light butterfly wings. make her be able to fly. I want her to have like cybernetic leg enhancements so she moves quicker. I want her to have, poison needles, things like that. Like play
Hmm.
into those aspects of her. Don't just make her strong, make her her.
Did you
Make
see?
sense?
Yeah, did you see the photo of Cyberpunk Shinobu I sent you? Like the audience watching this video probably can see it on my Discord screen. But yeah, like this, it basically you just described that. That was the perfect description for what the picture is in essence.
Oh, what if she has like
I completely
nanobot?
forgot about that, but yeah, it looks pretty damn dope.
She has like little nanobot things that are her like exoskeleton, and they can like rearrange themselves into like insect limbs. So like she can like get extra limbs, so she can get 6 limbs, or if she wants, or she can get like around like a lot of limbs if she's doing the centipede thing, so she can just like she can run very fast that way.
She's the bug jar lady, the poison bug jar lady. Yes.
Yes.
That's good.
Um,
I will
so what
say,
about Kane then?
yeah, I will say that when she probably still has like the stinger blade, but it's more of a like because she's like a fast. She's still quite fast, if you will. You know what I mean? So she still has the stinger blade,
Yeah.
except it still works. Like, cause she just likes being like this poisonous she like you she that's part of her personality. She likes fooling demons into thinking that she's weak, even though they know better, that kind of thing. But going back to
She's the
Kana,
kind of person who plays with her food.
yeah, like a cat.
Yeah.
Except, okay, so I will say that if we're gonna include the idea of digital consciousness, and we could, in theory, say Shinobu's personality stays somewhat the same for the simple reason. It's quite frankly because Shinobu has like questions or concerns with like, is this Kanae replication just a replication or actually Kanae? You know what I mean?
Oh shit.
So
Well, are we going to have a living Kanai, or are we going to have like an Iron Man kind of Jarvis Kanai?
hmm,
Jarvis Kanai would be so dope, honestly.
And then Jarvis Kanai gets uploaded into Vision's body, and then Thanos rips the Mind Stone out of it, and then she dies.
No.
In canon, let's do it.
I mean, it depends. I
Um,
mean, we don't have to answer this question, but if we do have like the cybernetic, like Jarvis, if you will, or rather the digital copy of her mind, it could still stand that Shinobu is like conflicted over what is this the real one, and that's why she still has some of that venomous personality. You know, not like just necessarily the tomboyish, if you will.
Yep.
I do like the idea of having AIs assist because
Oh my god. I would love some
if
banter
it's
between Jarvis, Kane, and Shinobu. That would be funny.
yeah, I'll get into that in a moment, but I was gonna say we do have the ghost in canon. So I feel like the best way to maintain that idea here
Ghost in the
is
machine, ghost in the machine kind of thing. Is that right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe Sabito hops off Gyu during the fight with Nezuko at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the to kind of mentor Tanjiro for a bit, and when they meet up again, he snaps back and Gyu's like, "Where the hell did you go?" And he's like, "I went and did your job, bitch."
We could do something along the lines of if we're explaining like this whole like conflict between is this AI the real person or just a pale imitation, we could say that maybe Gyu is on the end where rejection end where he's like this isn't the real Sabito, which is why he's so aloof around it. You know what I mean? Like even though it's an AI, you know what I mean? If that makes
Yeah.
sense. And then Shinobu is more like maybe it is, maybe it isn't, that kind of thing. So something like that. I mean, but then again, imagine if we had Guillaume's orphans as AIs. Like that would be.
Oh my, I was thinking of that. That would be so funny. Like, imagine, like, he was like, hey, you guys weren't supposed to be uploaded. And they're like, hey, they're like, imagine like 7 of them arguing, like, over, like, which way to turn. One of them's like, yo, turn right. And the other's like, no, we gotta go up. Another's like, no, we gotta go down. And then he was like, guys, stop, stop. Y'all are confusing me.
No,
I,
Other things I wanted to mention is if we go this route, I also think Makomo should be someone who's stuck around with the Rokodaki, and maybe she's around with Tanjiro for like the rest of events. Um,
Hmm. Okay.
almost like his guardian angel, maybe, which could also create some interesting tension because there were people who thought Makomo Tanjiro was going to be the big ship of the series when they first met Makomo, and then they learned she was dead. So imagine, you know, you bring Kanao into things, and it's like Makomo has feelings for Tanjiro, even though she's not alive, and then she's
Hmm.
jealous of Kanao.
Oh, same.
Oof.
And
Okay.
it's just like, why do you want to go on a date with this Kanao girl? She's not even that pretty.
What if we
That's just
also
being
what if we also gave like Tanjiro like the Suedo harem when basically the digital copies of the Butterfly Trio, Aoi and Kanao are also shipped into him along with like the originals. Like we just have the digital and then we have the real life one. That would be like that would be meta like thinking on a whole new level. If we're
That'd
going
be
that route.
super meta.
Yeah. Like is love between man and machine real? Who knows? But who yeah. Anyway, you were saying?
like Tinkerbell and Wendy.
The last idea I had is I feel like Jarvis Kanai or Kanai would be so annoying to Shinobu in like a very motherly way. Like, Shinobu, wake up! It's fucking 8:30. You were supposed to wake up at 8 o'clock. What are you
Like,
doing? Eat
come
breakfast.
on, Shinobu, get rid of that resting bitch face. Smile
Why?
a little.
Why are
And
you flirting
Shinobu.
with that Giyu boy if you're not gonna ask him out on a date? Man the fuck up, girl.
And in her spare time, she hangs out with the Sutaku AI, and then they both talk about how they want to see their siblings get married. Let's do that.
Aw. Wait. Can we have Tutakana happen?
Wait, what?
Please?
Wait, what?
Okay.
Did you just say Sane Kana? Is that right?
Oh, I said Tutakana. I saw fan art of it and I thought it was kind of cute.
Sutakan. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I mean, if we're dealing with AI, why not? I mean, in theory, if they get to the whole we have evolved into a higher AI purpose, they could just make copies of themselves to just see what goes on. You know, like you have a different shipping on like on the secret in the secret server where all the copies are stored. The copies make more copies, and then they just go exploring what the different things would be. Like that would just
Oh,
be
that's
You're opening up a
nice.
rabbit
So
hole.
all
Because
of
if they
our
can
ships
make
could have it.
copies, why can't they merge two copies and create a child?
why not? I mean, I know you've been talking about like Cyberpunk 2077, but there is like this whole like there is another game, I think it's called Ghost Runner or Cyber Runner, I'm not certain, but it's a different than Cyberpunk 2077, but it's still a cyberpunk genre. And the idea is like apparently in that particular universe, I know the people were so concerned about this AI that they locked him in a secure tower that the protagonist is trying to break him out of before he infects the protagonist, of course. So in theory, and this guy merges with like what's going on as well. So I know that that is possible. So in theory, if you're okay with digital shipping and digital copies, everybody wins because everything happens on the online thing. If that
Everything happens
Yes.
now.
All of our ships can win.
that would be fun. I mean, but then again, there would also probably be like, no, this is the copy. So these are the original copies. Those are just like the alpha and beta copies or some shit like that. I feel like they would go into that for this story.
That's how people would start shipping more.
I ship Alpha Kanae with Beta Sanami. I ship Alpha Sanami with
Wait, is this
Epsilon
the
Kanae.
Omega verse?
No.
Oh God, no.
It's just the different copies. Like Alpha, there's like the original Kanae, and then there's
I
Alpha
was gonna
Kanae.
joke there is no alpha Giyu. Giyu is always a beta.
I don't know. I mean, if you in the simulation in the Matrix, there is an there's an Alpha Gyu, so who
Oh
knows?
fuck. You know what you got my brain on now? You got my brain on the AI from Red versus Blue. That is a rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah, oh, oh my God.
What? Is it hot?
Well,
Hot.
do you want to explain this
Who pulled that?
DCC? Because I feel like you would do better at it. I don't have the words for this. Like you go for it. DCC? Oh,
I
do I?
am afraid.
No, I'm on my recording. Do you want me to scroll down to that, or should I just leave it until the recording's done? That's what I'm gonna ask you right now.
Sorry, what were you saying? I was busy quoting.
Oh no, Can I read the quote, or can I show the quote on like on recording, or should I wait?
Go ahead.
Okay, let's take a look. Okay, you know what? Just jump. Okay, another quote. Let's go. Another quote. It is hot. It's next to new thing. That's good. But yeah, so you were talking about red versus blue. Like, I think both of us got it. I don't know if Snecht got it. I mean, we don't have to go into it, but if you think it could contribute to the discussion of AI in Demon Slayer, Cyberpunk Demon Slayer, go for it.
In Red versus Blue, they
Yeah,
have so in Halo, which Red versus Blue is based in, they have AI. They pretty much scan your brain and make it into a digital person. Well, in Red versus Blue, some dude's like, well, I want more AI. I'm going to take the AI copied from my brain and emotionally traumatize it to break it down its personality into Splinter AI. And it is a fucking rabbit hole. The Red versus Blue universe is amazing.
it is. It really is. It's too bad Rooster Teeth went off the rails, though, recently.
Rooster Teeth.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I don't think Rooster Teeth has gone off the rails. I think that we're just currently in a very
We're-
tumultuous time,
Yeah.
full of shitty people, and there's a lot of people
We're
trying
not gonna
to make
go into this, like, viewers. We're not gonna go into this. Like, do it yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to. I couldn't help but think that. But anyway, back to the cyberpunk. Like let's leave the AI conundrums out of this. I mean, like I feel like we could. This is a topic for another discussion. Like we could dedicate a whole hour to discussing the perks of cyberpunk Demon Slayer AI. So let's get back to like the real world concepts, if you will, or rather the AU, like in flesh, or rather in real life concepts, if you will. Does that sound good? Hello, hello.
But just saying, I zoned out.
Oh my! Why are you giving awkward pauses, man?
Because I'm awkward.
Nah,
It's true.
we're all awkward, but I feel even more awkward when someone's trying to be awkward to me. Like, do you ever feel that? Like you're just awkward, and then someone's even more
Hey,
awkward.
hey Rad, do you want to maybe, I don't know, like go get lunch sometime or something?
Maybe. I mean, depends. Where do you? Oh no! Please, no fan art. Oh well. Anyway, but
We
yeah.
are now a ship. Deal with it.
I mean, we already have the same voice. Now this is just gonna get wacky.
Oh, great. We're Jack and Ryan. Oh, wait, we don't know.
Oh no! I'm Jack. You're Ryan. I don't care.
No, God, no.
No,
I'm
no.
handsome, not a piece of shit.
You guys are Shane
That's-
and Ryan, okay? Both equally valid.
Okay, but anyway,
On topic, because
Yep.
we only have a little time left.
Callie,
Um,
where art thou, Callie? Where art thou? Your seat is empty, man.
I feel like it would be fun for us to go down the line and, design our own cyberpunk aspect, like designs for characters, or maybe, focus more on the story. But maybe we should save that for another episode, like we were going to do for Avatar. I do want to say, though, our final point should probably be, are demons just demons, or like what are the cyberpunk aspects of demons? Like, because we kind of looked at Shinobu and we kind of fleshed her out a bit. Maybe let's take a look at Duma. Can we flesh out Duma and see what would he be like?
Directly from Shinobu
Liquid
to
nitrogen
Doma.
shooters.
Really, DCC? Wow.
It's almost like they're a fitting pair.
Ooh.
Oh my. Let's not go there, okay?
Listen,
I did not ship them.
okay, but
Yeah. Why are you always shipping everything?
Me?
yeah, well, anyway. So let's get to Doma. Anyway, so on Doma, we kind of went into the idea that this particular Doma in Cyberpunk is like into the dating service app, or rather into a thing where they can basically indulge in their carnal like sanguineous desires, if you will. So
Sanguineous.
that means bloody, because he likes to eat women.
Oh. Oh, so he's on the cannibal meetup.
It's not
like-
cannibalism if they're a different species.
Exactly. I don't-
Disclaimer: I do not support cannibalism.
None of us. DCC's views are his own. He does not speak for the rest of us here on the Breath of Fiction or anyone else affiliated for us. Just as we do not speak for him. Disclaimer.
Are you saying that you do support cannibalism?
I'm saying that if you say something and we get in trouble, it's because you said it, not us. That's
Okay,
all.
fight me.
All right, let's meet up somewhere and then we can brawl. Or rather, we can play Among Us, and then whenever we're imposters, we both kill
Matt's
each other.
trying to meet up with me again. Here we go. He's trying to ship us.
No, it's because I actually do kendo, and I can beat you up if I actually met you in with actually it.
Oh, fucking bring it.
Oh, come on. But yeah, anyway,
You do Kendo.
It's
Alright.
Noma.
that's back to.
Christian mingle.
Back on topic.
Okay, enough about like the dating. Okay, that's we already established that, Snack. We don't have to figure out which dating site he has his claws into. So, what do we think he like? Because here's my idea. Like when we look at the demons, like obviously Muzan's the big bad, controls a company, like the biggest company, the darkest company. So, do you think that there would be aliases for all these other demons? Because personally, I think if you were to go into the post World War II era for any reason, you would have to have that just because of the advances in mass media and Japan at the
I
very
think
least.
Duma would make a great public identity as like a Steve Jobs.
Oh, you're right. Oh, Elon Musk. He can be Elon Musk.
No,
No.
he's the Playboy Steve Jobs. Like that's
Yeah.
he's the Playboy Steve Jobs. That's what we would make him. And then okay, so he's a Playboy.
Yeah, he controls all of your information because he makes the phones, he makes the computers.
Well, he heads what Muzan's company controls. Like he's the
But
head.
Muzan's company is, a mega corporation. They control everything. Horizontal monopoly. They have their hands in every single pot. They control your food, your water, your electricity, your internet.
Well,
health.
no, but I mean, like he's not part of a separate corporation though. Like he's technically underneath Muzan's umbrella though. Like at Muzan's whim.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like not like it sounded like you were saying like he's a separate mega corporation. I'm like, because like you with the idea of Michikatsu being like that Shoko man, be like, if all the demons control all the corporations, there would be no hope whatsoever. There has to be like something going on. Like,
Okay, so listen. Maybe Gyutaro runs the equivalent of the IRS. Aki is like an entertainment.
The IRS,
producer
the IRS
slash
doesn't do
manager.
shit in Cyberpunk. Are you kidding me? Everything is so like.
Well, he's a tax collector. What? Like.
I would
He's
think
not a tax collector. He's a collector.
no.
He's
He's
a
the
debt
guy.
collector.
He's the guy
he's
who
a-
he's the guy who
he
heads
runs,
all
like,
the
the debt
collection
collection
services.
agency.
So you're the people. You're the people who are like. Let's put it this way. Imagine in Cyberpunk you have different kinds of debts, and then you can get it. So like you don't have to just pay in money. You can pay in labor. You can pay in or you can pay in like your organs if they or whatever's going on. You can pay in like something like that because it's dystopian. So he runs like all the collection agencies. So those
Yeah.
So the thing is, there's a collection agencies for people like who are like against the law and they collect like people's organs, if you will, along
Yeah.
with money. So he could run all of those. Like he's very greedy, in an essence.
Okay, so what if Daki runs like an entertainment agency? No.
I could have sworn I said that for my Cold War fic earlier, and when I was talking to you guys about it.
Yeah.
Here's what I picture Daki as, like almost like a Devil Wears Prada kind of
Like a
personality.
fashion
but-
thing?
Miranda
Like a fashion
Priestley?
thing?
Yes.
She controls the fashion industry. What about that? Like, because that's what I had her as.
Mm,
Like, if not
If
entertainment.
Daki doesn't wear it, no one wears it.
Exactly.
I love
That's good. And then
okay, Nakime. What if Nakime is like
she controls all the underground discos and DJ clubs.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
She is a DJ.
She-
She is
All the
The
drug
DJs
dens,
and
all like
DJs.
all the nightclubs where they do drugs, the nightclubs where they make drugs, everything. She controls it all. But yeah, so
and
I hate to wrap this up, everybody. We're getting into more and more parts of this amazing universe, but we are reaching the hour long, so we have to wrap this up. So, any last thoughts,
Indeed.
Sparta?
And I'm saying, indeed, we have to wrap this up.
Oh
Unfortunately.
no, I was gonna say, do you have any last thoughts on where we could go next with the Cyberpunk? Any comments? Anything?
Unfortunately, I'm not too familiar with cyberpunk genre or the games as of yet. I just want to say these are very, very cool ideas, and I really look forward actually to the next episode we do this on, if we do this again.
We're gonna do
Oh,
this again. We're doing this
do
again.
character backstories next.
Yeah, we're doing this again.
All
Don't
right,
worry.
then, perfect.
All right. So
Then
Alright.
I look forward to
Alright.
it.
you got anything,
All right,
Snect?
thank you.
Anything more, or is that it?
My one point. This is more of a question than anything. Do you want to just keep it simple, blood demon arts? Because like I'm thinking, do we want Duma to have his blood demon art, or do we want this guy to have like cryogenic implants? Like he could just freeze a woman immediately, just like put her in storage when he wants her, defrosts her.
Well, what if he has like cryogenic implants, but he can still manipulate ice with his BDA? So he'll use like something to produce moisture or ice, and then he will manipulate that ice.
Maybe.
So, like-
Okay, so kind of like he doesn't have full cryomancy. He has limited cryomancy.
Yeah. So
Perhaps.
he can't like.
I mean, if you give him cybernetic implants and you take away certain parts of his flesh, his capacity would be different because as much as the demons can manipulate, or rather can have control over their flesh to an extent, once you put cyber implants, you can't control them or shapeshift them the way you would normally like to.
Yeah. Or
But anyway,
what if he just has
yeah.
like exoskeleton devices?
I think those are all great concerns, but for everyone watching, let's
Yeah,
find
we
out on the
gotta
next
stop.
episodes, all right? So,
Okay.
everyone, that's been our take on, or at least our first episode, and hopefully a multi-parter, if not the second, if not three. But anyway, that's been our.
Dales,
Yeah.
multipass.
But yeah, that's been our first take on the cyberpunk genre and Demon Slayer. Hope you enjoyed the art that I showed you at the beginning of the video, and we hope to see you back here next week for when we take on the second half of Avatar. All right, so from all of us here at the Breath of Fiction, thank you for watching, and hope to see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Hope to see you guys next time. We're gonna be bending over backwards for you. I had to make a
Oh
pun.
my
Oh no,
God.
ta-da. Anyway,
Hey,
bye-bye.
stop recording.